Hey guys, Tavis Piatoli, sports dietitian for the Taylor Hooten Foundation. Today's topic, we're going to talk about alternative sweeteners, artificial sweeteners, or also known as low-calorie sweeteners. There's a lot of hype and talk in the fitness as well as the nutrition world that we should never consume these because they cause weight gain, they make you hungry, etc., etc. So what does the research say, right? We can talk a lot about what they do for the individual. Everybody's a little bit different in how their body responds to things like alternative sweeteners or artificial sweeteners. But let's first kind of figure out what are they, right? They have non-nutritive and they have nutritive. Nutritive sweeteners are things like xylitol, mannitol, sorbitol. These are also known as sugar alcohols. You find these in things like chewing gum. You find these a lot in protein bars and a lot of additive foods. This way, they don't add a lot of calories, but they also add flavor and also are ways for some people that are trying to do low carb or keto to make them think that they're consuming less sugar, right? So those are the nutritive options. Then you have the non-nutritive options. Those are things we typically add to coffee. That's aspartame, also known as equal. That's things like sucralose or Splenda, saccharin or sweet and low, or even things like stevia, which is more consistent of erythritol, which is known as maybe a natural option. But what does this do to the body? Well, there's still a lot of research, and I don't have all the answers when it comes to how does it impact the body, because there's still a lot to be studied. One of the biggest things that's being studied now is looking at the gut microbiome. How does it affect our digestion, absorption? There's some studies that are showing that these options may not be good for the gut overall long term in how our body breaks these down. But what does it do to weight? Does it impact your body weight? And will consuming things like equal or aspartame or saccharin or sucralose, does it cause you to gain weight? Does it help you with, losing weight? Does it impact your blood glucose? Does it make you hungrier? So Dr. Richard Mattis out of Purdue, we're gonna link his podcast here. We had a chance to interview him and talk about his research and the work that he did at Purdue, as well as other meta-analysis. These are basically a composition of a lot of studies that looked at, number one, do these impact body weight? And the answer is no. There's no statistical difference when it comes to consuming these beverages in overweight individuals, even in healthy individuals, that it's going to cause you to gain weight. That's completely false, and there's no science to support that. Now, you might have individuals say, I gain weight because of that. We really don't know why someone's gaining weight. Really in 99% of the time, it's because they're consuming too many calories. But does consuming these types of ingredients, like Diet Coke has aspartame, will drinking Diet Coke cause you to gain weight? The answer is no. That's completely false. Will it hurt your gut long term? Very possibly. We don't know all the answers, but it seems like there are some links with over-consuming these types of substances for long periods of time could potentially be maybe a little bit more risky on the gut breakdown, on the microflora of the gut and of the gut microbiome. That's why people take probiotics. So when we look at the meta-analysis, 7, 8, 9 studies that have been done on the effects of these types of ingredients on body weight, there's no impact at all. There's no increase in body weight. Now, if we look at things like blood sugar fluctuations and in glucose control, the same thing. They did a study. They looked at 10 meta-analysis, which are 10 studies as part of that meta-analysis, and there was no statistical difference when it looks at glucose control, meaning those individuals were not more insulin sensitive or insulin resistant. At the same time, we do want to look at these long term and see what happens, because these studies pretty much looked at a short term from 7 days all the way to 4 months, which will give us a lot more. But what happens if we consume these for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years? Let's look at the pattern. So overall, these beverages are very safe to consume. What's the rationale in regards to, or what's the recommendation when it comes to how much? I don't know that answer. Everybody's a little bit different on how their body metabolizes. Some people are very sensitive to these and can have them. Others, like to have these every once in a while. If you're consuming this as your primary source of liquid, meaning if it's all you drink or diet drinks all day, we may want to cut back and replace that with water. That's going to be a little bit better for you long term. But for now, these are not ingredients and beverages that will impact your body weight. The studies show, if anything, they help you consume less sugar and less energy or less calories overall. So I hope this was beneficial. Be sure to listen to the podcast we did with Dr. Richard Mattis from Purdue and his research on artificial sweeteners. Thank you so much. Have a great day. TaylorHooten.org.